All right, so let's get into this one. This is a bit of a strange one actually. This guy, he says his rank is complicated. He's currently slumping at Champion 2, but he normally floats around GC1, and he peaked at 1550 last week. And this replay is a GC1 lobby. Okay, so bit of a strange one. So he's currently slumping at Champion 2, he says, but is usually Grand Champion 1. So that is quite a difference. So let's see what's going on here. To be slumping at, 2 ranks below where you usually are, is it's quite a difference. It's quite a big thing. So I assume that I'm gonna do a prediction real quick. I'm gonna assume he's quite mechanical. He likes to go for some flashy stuff, but that is why he sometimes loses. He sometimes tries and overdoes things. That's what I will think will happen. This is good. This is fine so far. Nothing I can see is wrong. Yeah, nice. Good effort on the recovery. Yeah, I mean, looking mechanical so far. So this is one of those times where you don't want to be going over into their half for this. You want to try and get a demo on soup here. And that's about as far as you want to go, because you're leaving your teammates back. Whereas you have enough boost, you can just pick up pads and you'll be back with 60 in a better position. Yeah. I'd say you want to go for this ball because you notice that none of your teammates are in a position to go for that, and you should notice that a player is likely to be on that side of the pitch because you just see a guy hit the ball and rotate to your corner, and then he's going to be there now. So you want to be trying to get up to this and get a block on it since your teammates aren't going. Whether that's your fault or not, I'm not too sure, but I think you could have also just gone for that ball. I think your teammates could have done a better job too, for sure. But that's one instance where you went too far into their half, and perhaps you could have been in a better position to go up for it sooner. I think definitely. This is fine. Yeah, there's no point in jumping for this. I mean, like you've not really done too much wrong here so far, because you're just covering the spaces that you need to cover, and that that doesn't necessarily mean that you're going to be hitting the ball. Oftentimes there's going to be players who are on like 10 points in the first minute of the game because they haven't had to do much. All they've had to do is cover the space they've been covering and making sure things can't go into that position, which is what you've been doing. This is a good shot. Quite difficult to get that power on that shot, so that was definitely a good play there from you. Nice position so far. Can't really see too much wrong, apart from obviously going for that boost in the first goal, and perhaps not going for the ball to cut them off in that first goal. But yeah, this is fine. I mean, your teammate slightly pushed out. I think you could have done. I guess it's okay, but you can't rely on at these ranks. You can't really rely on your teammates being behind you in good positions, in my opinion. Like, yes, it's a high rank. Whenever I like say stuff like that, people are like, "Oh, Jack doesn't realize that this is a really high rank." I'm not saying that, but you still cannot rely on your teammates being in good positions all the time. So you want to be making the most out of your plays and what you're doing with the ball. So with this play, you want to be trying to work on being able to like air dribble this ball up the wall, or making a play out of this, like catching it into an air dribble, because you look quite good mechanically. Something like that, because you kind of let the ball go through you, and like I said, it should be fine, but necessarily sometimes your teammates aren't in the best of positions, so you don't want to be putting it too much up to chance. You drove too far forward here. You turned on your goal line, which is quite bad because now you're not covering. You're not giving yourself the best chance to save this ball. The best chance to save this ball is if you drive a bit inside your goal, and that way you have a bit of space in front of you to push into to gain momentum, and then you'll be able to get up to balls quicker and easier for saves. But you pushed it a little bit too far forward there, which meant that you struggled to get up as fast as you could there. And it was a difficult shot to save, so you combine that with a little bit of a poor position that you're never going to be saving that ball. It's going to be very difficult. Good clear there. Nice position. I think this is fine. I mean, I can't tell where you meant to hit this. I can't really say too much because I can't tell where you meant to hit that. I feel like you mistimed your flip, which Everyone does on those balls. It's difficult. This is a good position. I like that you turn for this. Just a bit of a misread, bit of depth perception there on the ball is a bit wrong here because you jump when the ball's rolling, but it's difficult to see that. Sometimes it's best to stay grounded. You don't want to flip here. There's no point. You're supersonic. So in Rocket League, right, when you're supersonic, if you carry on driving in a straight line or a near straight line, there's a little bit you're allowed to curve. You will never lose supersonic. If the pitch was 10 million miles long and you gained supersonic and just held on your accelerate button and didn't move direction, you will stay supersonic the entire time. So there's no point flipping here because you're also not going faster, and when you flip you commit to a certain direction fully, so it means you're more susceptible to bumps and demos. So there's no point flipping here. It gives you absolutely no advantage. Bit awkward for this ball. Let's see where your teammates are. So you see one teammate has just gone up for the ball, which means that he is no longer in the play. He cannot get another hit on this ball. He's floating. You see one of your teammates is pushing up. So you can't be pushing up here. You're driving forward here where the ball is clearly about to be hit into your own half. So you want to be setting up sooner and getting ready for where this ball is going, which you're not. You're facing in the complete opposite direction of where this ball is actually being hit. And yes, we can turn around on the spot, but that doesn't mean that we could have done better. Like we could just be in a better position to be able to deal with this ball easier. So you want to be turning sooner here. You don't want to be driving forward this much. You want to drive to here and then turn or turn that way and just prepare for the hit into the corner, because that's where it's obviously going to go. There's a certain point, right, where this guy's going up with the ball where it's clear he's going to hit it in a certain direction, which is over there. So you got to recognise that, I think, which you can. You could definitely recognise that there. Good hit to carry on though. Bad 50. So when we take a 50, we need to recognise where our opponent's coming into the ball from, and what we're actually covering on the ball. So basically, a quick basic explanation of 50-50s, right, is if you're only covering this part of the ball here, so you're leaving all of this half here, right, all the right side of the ball, and this guy is coming into it neutrally. He's hitting it in the middle, so he's covering an even amount of each side, and you're covering only the left side. The 50 is going to pinch to the right side. As you see, he hits it in the middle, you hit it on the left side. So the 50, it's a really harsh 50, and it pinches all the way over here. Yeah, and we concede from it. So what you need to do on this 50 is you need to recognise that there's a possibility someone comes from the side, because that's just how rotation is. There's going to be a guy coming for this ball on the other team. So you need to recognise that sooner. In my opinion, you made a mistake by slowing down here, by stopping boosting. You did a really good, not really good, because like we talked about before, you could have been in a better position, but you did a good enough job making that first touch and carrying on your momentum towards the ball. If you just carried on boosting and didn't slow down, didn't stop boosting for that literally half a second, you would have been able to hit the ball into the wall, chip it against the wall, take out this player, and then get a free 1v1. But because you slow down, you let this guy come in. Now that's fine if he does come in, but if he does come in, we need to make sure that one of two things happens. One, we either don't get a touch on this ball, because if we don't get a touch on this ball, he's going to flip into it. Where's the ball going to go? Up the wall, then this guy can come take it, sure. That's fine if you don't touch the ball, because then you can just rotate behind your teammates anyway. But if you want to take this 50, you need to be aware that this guy's going to come into the side of the player and he's going to have a way bigger opportunity to win this 50. So you've got to get beside the ball quicker. You need to cover. You need to be boosting alongside this ball, like into this position, so you're covering all of it. You want to be covering the direct center of the ball on 50-50s. So here, your job isn't to jump here. You need to be making sure you drive as much as you can to get to the center of this ball and then flip into it. And then you cover as much of the ball, then the 50 is going to be even, or you might slightly lose it, and then the ball goes behind you and your teammate comes and take it. But the 50 was really bad, to be honest. It was quite a poor 50. That being said, this guy in that he should be able to deal with this ball fairly easily. So the 50 was bad from you. Your teammates could have definitely done a better job. But that 50 was your mistake in that play. Nice play from your teammate. This was a good 50. You did a good job of this. Yeah, I don't mind this play from you either, because you're trying to speed up the spool because you see they're in the other team's in an awkward position. So I like that. It's a good attempt. Careful of that. So we always want to be making sure we're pathing over the pads. We're driving over the pads, and our pathing, our movement around the pitch is in line with those pads. So here, you want to be getting at like possibly this pad. If not, then it's fine. Get this pad for sure. And you flip here. You don't want to flip here because there's no point. Let's have a look at you real quick before I explain it. Where are you? See, you're already supersonic, I think. You're pretty much supersonic. If you use like 3 more boosts, you'll be supersonic here. There's no point flipping for this. And you're also not flipping in the right direction. So you're very awkward now, yeah. So you flip underneath the ball, which has made it more awkward for you. And you didn't even need to gain speed. I feel like sometimes you're going faster than you think. Like, you don't, like, flipping, it is literally slowing you down. When you flip when you're supersonic, in my opinion, I think it slows you down. I'm not sure about the actual, like, statistics behind that, but it definitely doesn't speed you up. So there's no point doing it. If there's not a negative, there's definitely not a positive. So there's no point flipping when you're supersonic, or when you're pretty much supersonic, when you just need to use like 5 more boosts to get there. Just use that 5 boost to get supersonic and then get the ball. But anyway, so there's no point flipping here. Your best movement that you want to be taking here is, like I said, possibly this pad, but in my opinion, it's not the end of the world if you don't get it. Get this pad, so you'll be here, get this pad, no point flipping. The ball's coming over here. You see this guy's in the air, he can't touch the ball. You see this guy's there, he can't touch the ball. And you should know that guy's over there because he was just in that rotation. You saw him a second ago. He can't touch the ball. So basically, there's no threat on the ball right now apart from the ball. Like, apart from the ball's speed, that's the only threat towards your goal. And you know it's going relatively slowly. You can get up to it before without flipping. So just drive along this pad, maybe this pad. And if you do go to that pad, come to this one as well. And that way you get 6 pads. And, you know, do the math, 6 times 12, you'll be on 72 boost, 82 boost if you stayed at the 10 you had before. So you'll be on 80 boost, you'll be able to collect the ball, and you'll be in the corner. That guy's 100 boost, your other teammate should be on maybe 100 if that boost spawned, looking like it didn't know, so he'll be on 100 boost over here. So your boost amount for your whole team will be 300 pretty much, and you'll have the ball. And one guy just got demoed. This guy's coming for the play, which you're about to take him out as soon as you just get a touch. So this guy's in midfield covering all 3 of you with 300 boost, as long as you didn't flip. But because you flipped, the ball has to be really slowed down, because you have to get into a bit of an awkward position and make up for it. So the ball got slowed down, and now you can't really capitalize it on too much. Careful of flipping here as well. So yeah, really be careful on flipping. I think that is the main thing I see so far, because you're pushing up a little bit too far into your teammate's space here. You're 3rd man right now. You need to respect like that's your position. You can't really do too much right now. You want to be covering for this 50 that's just happened. If that guy got a touch on the ball, it's a goal. So careful flipping for sure. Nice. Yeah, I mean, in my opinion, this is your ball. So yeah, nothing wrong here, because you've got the angle for a touch around that player that's coming for the dunk, whereas your teammate's literally gonna hit into him like he did. So it's definitely your ball there. So you did nothing wrong there. That's fine, because you know you have a teammate behind you to cover for anything that gets past you. This should be a goal. Yeah. Bit of a weird one. Nothing to say on that. You didn't do anything wrong. So nothing needed. Good position so far. Nice. Good effort. I mean, I guess the touch could have been a little bit more to the corner to make sure no one could come across, but I like the idea. I like the way you try to go for that touch to yourself. Nice. I like that you go for this. Sometimes it's good to cut rotation. That was a really bad dive from the opponent, but it's a good Good hit from you here to recognise that he's coming for the ball and that you just need a touch past him to score. You didn't even have to be on target. So this is a good play from you. Well done. Nice speed. You've got like good mechanics. You're quite confident. Nice play. Yeah, you're not doing anything wrong in the past 20 seconds or so. Work on those speed flips. This isn't a speed flip. It's just a diagonal dodge. I think you tried to speed flip here. You just messed up. So work on those for sure. Don't need to say too much though, because it's quite relatively straightforward of a piece of advice. Careful on this. So when we're in this position, when our teammate or even us, when we have like any position like this where our teammate's coming towards us with the ball in the air, but he's still close to the ball, it's sometimes risky to go for that, because if the ball goes past you, or if your teammate gets beat on the 50 and you go up for it as well, you're taking two of you out in the matter of 2 seconds. So you're leaving the last person on your team to defend all three of the opponents. So it's a bit risky to go for this. In my opinion, the best thing to do, right, is to wait here, just linger here and see, does my teammate get past this player that's about to challenge him? If he does, then we can come and take this ball, we can take the 1v1, whatever. If he doesn't, then we're still on the ground, we haven't committed, so we can quickly rotate back behind this guy and support him in defense. But going up for this, is a little bit too risky in my opinion, and it's something that we're all guilty for. Everyone does it. In RCS, everyone does it. It's actually one of our biggest mistakes back on the old Dignitas team with Panda. Panda and Verge always kept telling me and Yoris to stop doing it. I mean, we can't still do it in our team today, so maybe it's not too bad, but it's sometimes fine. It is sometimes fine to do it, but it needs to be communicated quickly between you and your teammates, and this guy's not in a call with you because he's solo queue, so he definitely couldn't communicate it with him. So a little bit too risky to go for that. Alright, so I think, in my opinion, your biggest mistakes is third man position. You're slightly too far pushed up. You're, like I said at the start, I wasn't 100% right, because you're not as you're not playing it as risky as I thought you would. But there are certain situations which I'm right with what I said. Like, you are sometimes a little bit too aggressive, bit too impatient to attack, and a little bit too eager to get a goal, especially when you're up. You don't need a goal right now, you're winning the game. So positions like these, when the ball is going slowly, there's no point driving at full speed, because you're not getting into a position for anything. If anything, you're over rotating, you're being over aggressive, and you're going to end up in a position too far from where you need to be. So yeah, even if this ball comes mid, you did have a teammate waiting midfield. He did get demoed, but let's say he didn't get demoed, he would be on this ball. So there's no need for you to be here. You want to be waiting midfield here, and not anything else, because if you're waiting midfield, any ball that comes to you, you can stop it from getting into your own half and carry on the attack. That's your job as third man, especially in positions like these. But you're slightly too far forward, and yeah, you don't get back, obviously. Just quickly, I mean, it's not too important because it's a very, very small thing, but no, there wasn't anything else you could do. I thought you were weaving with your car, but you weren't. I wasn't sure, so I just had to look. I mean, it wouldn't have been that important. It's a very, very small thing. But like, my point would have been, if we were weaving in that situation, we want to just make sure we're getting back in a straight line as fast as we can, because we're trying to catch up to the ball at the end of the day. Nice, this is fine. Nice, good recognition. Nice, I like this. This is a good recognition that he's gonna miss this ball, and even if he hits it, you have a guy, or you should have a guy behind you. I mean, you saw he was missing the ball, so it's fine. I also like this like approach on the 50. You're putting your car so you have as much surface area of your car covering the ball, which is how you win 50s. So this is a good play from you. Get a block on that guy. Nice. This is great. Yeah, and you're gonna get a goal for it. Yeah, that was near perfect. Near perfect play. Can't really think of anything else you could Could have done better there. That's good. So this is actually a really good thing that you're doing here. This is one thing that a lot of players can improve on, is that you're not worried about anything that's going to get on target here. Look at what you're doing. You are only covering the midfield because that's your job. I see a lot of players, they cover the same things as their teammates. They're trying to always cover their net when that's not even the most threatening thing. The most threatening thing here is the pass into this guy over here. This guy. So you're covering that, which is perfect. So, great job. Good control. You have really nice mechanics. I don't like that. In here, you did a great touch. Just get a touch here. Like, boost into this ball. 27 boost. All the boosts. Oh, no. 15 of the boost. So, you have about 10 to carry on. 15 of the boost. Tap it over lock and try and carry on with the ball and just make it awkward for them. Get a 50. You know, go for a bump. Whatever you want to do. But that play here, it makes you really susceptible to get dunked, like, super hard. Because you're not covering any of the ball. And if anything, you could almost put your car like underneath the ball, which would act as a ramp for lock to hit the ball off of, which pinches really far into your half. So you never want to be doing this too much unless you have space. So careful of that one where you try and get underneath the ball. Sometimes it can be bad for 50s. Nice hit. Well done. Yeah, nice. This is good because you see that this guy's awkward. He's going to go backboard. So you see that if you hit it off this corner, he can't go for the ball. He can't cover that. So this is a really good hit, speeding up the ball, getting it to go fast. I like that a lot. Oh, and that's actually a forfeit. That's going to be the end of the game already. That's a bit of an abrupt ending, a little bit of a shorter one. How it started a minute of analysis to go. It's a bit unfortunate that this wasn't a full 5-minute replay, but I think there's a few things that you can work on, especially the flipping. You want to be making sure that you don't do that as much as you are. So like obviously flipping is fine, but you need to find when and where it's right to do. The biggest thing for me is that positioning and that like decision making in your positioning, especially as third man. Third man, it's sometimes a difficult role to play. Your best bet is to play it further back than you always think that you should, because that way you're at least you're being less risky than you normally would be. You know, if we're too far pushed up, yes, we might get more goals potentially sometimes, but you're also at a higher chance of conceding. Now, a player that has like quite good mechanics like you do, it shouldn't be your worry to try and, you know, compensate and score more goals with your positioning and with your aggressive position. You should be relying on your mechanics to do that and your individual skill, and not your willingness to take risks and take chances, because you're probably better mechanically and individually than a lot of the players in these lobbies. So these players that aren't as good mechanically as you, they need to take more risks. They need to outsmart you with their position. They need to play more aggressive with their position and to try and get those goals that they might not be able to get with their mechanics usually. Whereas you have those mechanics, so you can get them without being too risky. So perhaps play a little bit more defensively with your positioning, I'd like to see. And not don't be scared to go for stuff. Don't be scared to go for balls, but just always have in your mind like defense over offense, like making sure I don't concede is the main priority, rather than making sure I have the best opportunity to score. Your main priority should always be defense first, offense next, because that's what wins games in anything, in my opinion. So good defense, making sure you work on that. It's one thing I can work on. One thing most players can work on actually. But yeah, I think that was the main thing. Definitely, like, keep working on your mechanics. You want to keep those mechanics at the level that you have right now, because you definitely have better mechanics. They're a step above most players in your rank, in my opinion. You're quite comfortable in the air, just making sure keep making sure that you're making those right decisions on what you do with the ball, which looked pretty good this game. But yeah, positioning was the main thing. And the flip in as well. Your boost management looked pretty good. Perhaps sometimes you could have pathed over those small pads a little bit better, making sure you're always looking to pick up small pads on your rotation. And Yeah, I mean, I think if you cut out the flipping, that will also help with the small pads. Because when you flip, obviously, you flip. When you flip, you're flipping in a certain distance. Like once you flip, you can't change how much distance you're going to cover. You can't change what direction you're going to go. So if you stop flipping as much, you'll be able to choose where to go around the pitch and choose where to pick up those small pads. So definitely work on those things. But yeah, hope this helped you, mate. And make sure you message me for any questions. Of course, I'll be more than happy to answer any of them. But yeah, hopefully this helps. Cut out those slumps where you're deranking 2 full ranks. I think if you play a little bit safer, that will definitely stop. So yeah, let me know if this helps, mate, and I'll see you guys soon.